welcome to the Scoreboard. Happy Friday to everyone. This episode of the Scoreboard was recorded earlier in the day. Today's actually Thursday when I'm recording this, so it is a whole day ahead. No worries, we're going to talk about things as normal, like nothing's changed. So just know if you are hearing this on Friday, the information may be a little bit behind, a day behind. Don't worry about it, it's okay. Not too much is going to happen. We are going to have some hockey and basketball games going on later on tonight. Yesterday, we had some games as well. The New York Knicks playing the Indiana Pacers in Game 1 of the East Finals for the NBA. You also had the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars, Game number 1 of the Western Final in the NHL last night. Pretty decent games all around. I had my eyes on the NBA side of things. I've been watching a lot of hockey this year. Decided to, go to the NBA side, considering I'm a fan of the New York Knicks. We don't have to talk about what they did in Game 1. A disgrace. Terrible. I don't know what else to say. It's the Pacers, man. It's not that bad. Knicks up 17 in the fourth quarter. They lose in overtime. Up 9 with a minute to go. Up 9 with a minute to go. You'd think Reggie Miller was back on the Pacers, right? No. Unfortunately for the Knicks, they fall game number 1 in overtime. And it was a collapse. It was a choke. It was about all the things that you could say it was. And Halliburton with the celebration, with the choke celebration, thinking that he won the game. I saw the choke celebration. After he did that, I started thinking, oh boy, it'd be terrible if they end up losing this game. And that choke is one of the lasting memories of game number 1. He did it a little prematurely. Yes, he made the shot at the buzzer, but his toe was on the line. His toenail was on the line. So it wasn't a game winner. It sent them to overtime, where the Pacers ended up winning late in that one. A couple of turnovers by the Knicks at the end of the game really, really put them in for worse there. And you saw it at the end of regulation. There were a couple of times where the Knicks were that close to turning the ball over and giving the Pacers a chance to win the game in regulation. Nonetheless, though, that game goes to overtime. The Pacers take a 1-0 series lead. I know you're going to know what I would talk about when I say 13 in a row. 5 to Florida. That's how many Eastern Conference final games the Carolina Hurricanes have lost in a row. The last 13 Eastern Conference finals in the NHL where the Carolina Hurricanes were attending, the Carolina Hurricanes did not win. As last night, Wednesday night, they dropped the ball big time on that one. I mean, that was a bad game. It was a really bad game for the Hurricanes. I don't know what needs to change, but a 5-2 final, I mean, I know what I think needs to change, and I've been saying it for years, and if you've been listening to the program, you know my view on this. Freddie Anderson is just not the guy that's going to go get you a Stanley Cup. He's definitely not going to outdo a Bobrovsky on the other side of the ice. I don't see him doing that, considering Bob had a great playoff last year, and they won the Stanley Cup. Don't forget about that. But the Carolina Hurricanes fall 5-2 in game number 1. Game number 2 is later on tonight. So for me, it's later tonight. For you guys listening to the program, you already know the results of that game. I'm going to say Carolina comes back and ties the series. I would like to see Carolina put up a fight. The last 5 games in the Eastern Conference Finals for Carolina have been against Florida, and they've lost all 5 of those games. I don't know, are they cursed? Was there a curse that was put down in 2006 that I don't know about? Because they won the Cup not that long ago. There are teams that wish they had won it since 2000. Carolina is one of those teams. So I'm not sure what happened to them. They have some kind of mental block with the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know. What's worse? Hurricanes not winning in the Eastern Conference Finals or the Maple Leafs never making it? Because, man, you put up a performance like that in Game 7 if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. You're at home, and you go down 3-0 into the third period? Terrible effort. That's about all I can say. That's where we stand right now in the NHL and the NBA. Quick update on the MLB standings. The best team in baseball right now are the Detroit Tigers. They have a game and a half over the Phillies. Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs, Mets are all up there. How about the Cubbies having a good year so far? Here's something for you, and we're going to talk a little Major League Baseball here today. I know I've been neglecting it a little bit in the last couple of shows, but here's something for you. With the 9-5 loss to the Phillies, the Colorado Rockies have clinched the MLB modern era record for the worst record through 50 games with a game to spare. Yes, with a game to spare. This was last night for me, so Wednesday night. Phillies beating the Rockies 9-5. The Rockies' record right now is 8-41. You thought the White Sox were bad. They're actually second worst, but they're 15-35. I'd rather be 15-35. The big surprise there is Baltimore only a game ahead of Chicago. 16 wins, 32 losses. That's a team that I would have had my eye on for taking the next step. But managerial change over there, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if it was a coaching issue for Baltimore, but you got to try something. So they fire their manager, and right now they have an interim manager. And you guys know I'm going to butcher names. Tony Mansolino. That's my best guess on it. I think that's right. So Tony Mansolino is the new manager for the Orioles after they dismissed Brandon Hyde, who's been there since 2017 and really saw the rebuild over for this team. Unfortunately, they had to get him out of there as the third worst record in the MLB is just not going to cut it. It's just not. We're going to head to our first commercial break of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot coming up. We're going to get deeper into the MLB, a little bit more NBA and NHL talk for you as well. And then we're going to talk about NASCAR, the All-Star race in our rearview mirror, Fox broadcasts in our rearview mirror. We head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600, broadcasted by Amazon Prime. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this. And welcome back to the Scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Segment number 2 on this Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday for me out here today. You guys are hearing this, like I said, on Friday afternoon. So some of the information might be a little bit later or out of date, I should say. But you know what? It'll be all right. We're still going to have a conversation about things going on in the world of sports going on today. We talked about the MLB in the last segment. Colorado Rockies, a new MLB modern age record for the worst record through 50 games. And they can still improve on that. They have one more game before they reach the 50 games mark. So, man, I can't tell you the last time the Rockies were good. Maybe when they had Troy Tulowitzki, and that was, it feels like forever ago at this point. Tulo no longer, obviously, in that ballpark. But for the rest of the MLB, there's some things going on that I think I need to bring to your attention as I pull up my stat book here. Shohei Ohtani leads the league in home runs. He's actually tied with Kyle Schwarber for the lead. The Dodgers star and the Phillies star. Then it's Aaron Judge and Cal Riley. Cal Riley with 16 home runs on the year. He's tied with Aaron Judge. So those are good numbers, right? Right. And I just said Aaron Judge tied for second in the league in home runs. Aaron Judge, in 48 games, 184 at-bats, is batting .402. Aaron Judge is batting .400 in May. If he gets through May and is batting .400 still, that's incredible. We do not see that in modern day baseball. We've talked about it before on this show, the 3 true outcome player. Home run, strikeout, or walk. Those are your 3 true outcomes right there. Aaron Judge is kind of breaking the mold because he's got the home runs, he's got the walks. He does have the strikeouts as well. Don't forget about that. The strikeouts are part of that formula. He does have 48 of them, but he's batting .402 with an on-base percentage of .491, slugging .755. .755. To put that into perspective, Freddie Freeman, who's only played in 39 games this year, is the next best slugger in the league with the .660 slugging percentage. And then it's Shohei Ohtani at .655. He's a full point ahead. .755 slugging for Aaron Judge. Wow. And we can obviously throw out the wrong idea that people have that Aaron Judge is somehow cheating using the torpedo bat. Aaron Judge has said multiple times he doesn't use the torpedo bat. There's plenty of documentation that he does not use the torpedo bat, and the torpedo bat is legal. We're now in May. If it was an illegal bat, if it wasn't allowed, if it broke the rules of Major League Baseball, don't you think we would have heard something about it by now? Just had to get that off my chest once again. So the Major League Baseball season, like I said, we're almost 50 games through. That's just shy of a third of the way through the MLB season, which is 162 games long. And I can understand why you might not watch all 162 games. I personally don't start paying close attention to baseball until after we give away the NBA championship, the NHL championship, later on in June. That is when those usually wrap up. Then you get into those dog days of summer, and once you're in the middle of summer, baseball is what you got. You also have Charlotte FC as well. We don't want to leave them out of the question because Charlotte FC having a very good year so far. They've been enjoyable to watch. Saturday, they play Columbus. And as of right now, for Charlotte FC, they've had a decent start to the year. And I talk about this a lot. If you listen to the show, you know what I'm going to say here. You got to start the year strong. If you don't start the year strong, then you're playing catch up the rest of the way. Charlotte FC did start the year strong. They've kind of slowed down a little bit here as of late with a couple of losses, actually 3 consecutive losses, throw a draw in there. So things kind of getting rocky for Charlotte FC right now. They are 6-1-7 though, so keep that in mind. They have a pretty decent record. And not only that, they're 8th right now in the playoff race, which is within the bracket that you need to be in the playoffs. They have a little bit of a bumper to the 10 seed team. That would be the New York Red Bulls, but that bumper is only 1 point. And New England, the Revolution, they are also 1 point behind Charlotte FC. So we need to turn things around here recently. Here's something that surprises me about Charlotte FC. And I always find this interesting to look at. It's the home and away splits. Charlotte, 5 wins, 2 losses, 0 draws at home. On the road, 1 win, 5 losses, and 1 draw. They do not play well when they travel. And I don't know what that says about the team, about the structure of the team, about the culture there, about the travel. But it says they don't travel well. That's what it does say. So I find that interesting. If they can get those home and away splits a little bit better, a little closer to even across the board, they'll start to do a lot better. I had them pegged in for a top 4 seed this year. They got a long way to go. They're 5 points back of Nashville, who is the 4 seed right now. But there's a long way to go in the MLS season before we really have to start worrying about positioning for playoffs and where we're going to be. So just keep that in mind when you look at Charlotte FC, the standings, the schedule, and things like that. So Charlotte FC, they'll be at Bank of America Stadium on Saturday, 7:30 game against those against Columbus Crew. And that is a game that I do hope they are able to win. They're home. We just talked about it. They play really well when they are at home. And Columbus is a team that's ahead of them in the standings. They're actually 3rd right now with 27 points. So 7 wins, 1 loss, 6 ties, whereas Charlotte has 6 wins, 7 loss, 1 tie. So a little bit flip-flopped on the numbers there between Columbus and Charlotte. But like I said, that game coming up Saturday at 7:30. We took a little detour there after talking about Major League Baseball to talk some MLS, give Charlotte FC some love. I want to give some love to the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos, who is going to be on the program next week. Yes, I have a special interview. I'm not quite going to tell you who's going to be on there just yet. You're going to have to tune in next week. Lake Norman Harbor Hippos proudly presents the Scoreboard. Head on out to Huntersville this summer. Season starts at the end of May, so you got a little time to get prepared to go watch some good baseball. This is collegiate level baseball that the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos is. It's just a summer league for those college players. So a lot of excitement in the area this summer. I've seen the field, or at least the renderings of it. It looks like it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go down there and see how things work out. Let's turn our attention real quick before we go to commercial break to the NBA. Oh, boy. I don't know if I really want to do this. The Knicks blew it last night. They were up 17 in the 4th quarter, up 9 under a minute to go. And the Pacers steal game number 1 of the series. Now, if you remember last year, the Pacers and the Knicks did play in round number 2. It was to go play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers ended up winning that series in 7. Now, the difference is there were some injuries. Both teams had injuries. This time, though, both teams are healthy. So I expect a very competitive series. That's why I do think the Knicks will end up tying the series at home. Man, that late rally really hurt the Knicks, and it hurt the fans too. You could see it. You could see Walt Frazier was sad. Everybody was sad that was in the area, in the arena, I should say, for that collapse. 17-point collapse in the 4th quarter. Not what you want to see. Well, there's another series as well going on in the NBA, the Thunder and I've drawn a blank here, the Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we're going to talk about that series on the other side of the break, but we do have to go to break, so we're going to do that now. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to The Scoreboard. We're back after this. Mic there for a second, and I almost forgot to plug it back in. I did forget, actually. You probably saw me plug it back in. If you're watching on the WSIC streams, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or X if you call it that, the WSIC News app, or the website. You can catch us on all of those, as well as the radio, terrestrial radio. We are still on there. 105.9, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. And this is The Scoreboard, proudly presented by the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos. We will have someone with the Lake Norman Harbor Hippos on our show joining us next week. Surprise in order. I'm not telling you who it is. And yes, it's because I don't have it finalized yet. But don't worry about that. I'll figure it out. You're listening to The Scoreboard. In the last segment, we talked a lot about MLS, Charlotte FC. I saw a couple of players from Charlotte FC got pulled up to the national team recently, which is actually awesome. That's really cool to see. We got some good players over here. Just got to put it together now. Got to put these games together. Got to win games, or at least draw. I think it was, 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago, Charlotte FC lost so many games from the final 5 minutes stoppage time. Like, they just kept letting goals in right around that time. That was really frustrating. It was really frustrating. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're talking a little NBA action as last night the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers squared off. We went to overtime with the Pacers winning 138-135. The Knicks were up 17 in the fourth quarter. Big story of the day. The blown lead. This Eastern Conference Final is interesting because the Pacers won a game for the first time since 2004 in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the last time the Knicks won a game in the Eastern Finals, it was 2000. So somebody's going to the NBA Final with a chip on their shoulder, I'd say. And even in the West, with the Timberwolves and the Thunder, I'm feeling good about these last four teams. And I saw something that said the last 7 years, the NBA has had a different champion. And I saw a counter argument to that it's actually bad for the league for that. I agree and I disagree with that. It's interesting because when you have a dominant team, and I'll use the NFL as an example, 2000s, 2010s, when you have the Patriots, you have a villain. Right now, I don't think the NBA has a villain. People might say it's the Lakers because of LeBron James, but I really think the LeBron hate has died down, and rightfully so. I don't understand why he gets as much hate as he does. Maybe early in his career when he was younger and less mature, but now it's like, what's the problem with him? He's one of the best, maybe the best basketball player we've ever seen. Easily the best for the longest amount of time. I mean, geez, LeBron. And I've talked about this before, how many playoff games he's played in. I think it amounted to an extra 3.5 seasons of regular season basketball. And we know the intensity of playoffs and regular season are a little different. So call it 5 extra regular seasons. based on how many playoff games he's played. But right now, I don't think the NBA has a villain. And we know who the villain is in other leagues. In the NFL, it's very easy. It's the Chiefs. I mean, it's simple as that. The Chiefs are the villain of the NFL right now. And it's funny because, 6 years ago, 2019, they were the darlings of the NFL. The ones who we wanted to take down the Patriots. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And the Chiefs are living pretty long. They are the villain right now. But for the NBA, I don't know if we have a villain. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one of these Final Four teams is a villain. I don't know if people want to root against the Knicks just because they're New York or players on other teams. I'm trying to think if there's a problematic player on the other teams. I don't think there is. Everybody seems pretty well respected. OKC has the MVP winner, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, winning his first MVP. And I say first because I wouldn't be surprised if he won more. Now, Oklahoma City did win game 1 of their series against Minnesota. That is a 1 seed versus 6 seed. And remember, Oklahoma City was far and away the best team in the regular season when compared to the East and the West. They were far and away the best team in the regular season. So making the final is probably the expectation. But Minnesota, they got a young team over there. They're finally starting to put it together. They end up winning. But now they're down 1-0 in the Western Finals. Game 2 of that series is later on tonight for me. For you guys listening, later on tonight on Friday, it's Indiana and New York again. Reggie Miller is not on the court, like I said. So don't do that again, New York. Don't do it again. Close out the game. I don't know how. And it's not like they just had a lid on the basket and they couldn't score. It was a 20-6 run to end the game to end the regulation for Indiana. Tough. Very tough. So game 2, Minnesota OKC, later on tonight for me. Tonight for you, Indiana and New York. Also, by the time you guys see this, game number 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NHL between the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes will be final. We will know the results. I am nervous. I wasn't really all that nervous up until now for Carolina. The first round was a breeze for them. And I had been saying all along, I don't know how much I voiced that on the show for you guys, that Washington just didn't scare me as a team that was going to go to the Stanley Cup this year. Carolina, I felt like they had the pieces. Florida, they still have the pieces to go back to back. And now it's time to dig deep because you've lost 13 consecutive Eastern Conference final games, 5 in a row against the Florida Panthers. You've been in this position before, recently, with this core, with this coach, who is still yet to win an Eastern Conference final game. It's time to get the monkey off your back here and get a win. Feel good about playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just know that the players on that team hear about it from the media, obviously from the media, but from fans and others alike. Hey, when are you guys going to win an Eastern Conference final game? Hey, are you guys going to win this time? They got to get the monkey off their back. They got to do it at home. If they don't do it tonight at home, trouble waits. Trouble waits. We're going to go to our final break of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. NASCAR coming up on the other side of the break. We're back right after this. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment here on the scoreboard on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. A reminder, this program was recorded earlier. So it's Thursday for me, which means for you guys, you had some games that were played that I haven't talked about. It's just the way it's going to be. In this last segment, we're going to talk about the NASCAR Cup Series, All-Star Weekend, last weekend, Coke 600 coming up on Sunday. We also have Monaco on Sunday and the Indianapolis 500. Kyle Larson expected to do the double. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out for him. We're going to see. We're going to see because it is not looking promising in Indianapolis for Sunday. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about the Cup Series. The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Weekend was on Sunday and Saturday. We had the heat races Saturday, which were really good in themselves. Man, do I feel bad for SVG in that open race. Dominating car, it looked like, just pulling away from everyone to the point where he thought he should slow down a little bit. He thought he was pushing too hard. No, he just had a really good car, but then you put him back in traffic, 2 tires on the car, and it's hard. It's really hard to pass at a short track right now. And that's why I don't think the package is correct yet. Now, they did make changes to the short track package. They took away some of the underbody downforce, which drivers have been begging for them to do that at the short tracks for a while now. Personally, I think they should just take the diffuser out completely. No more underbody on the short track car. Expose the underbody again and let it all be overbody downforce. And then we'll have good short track racing again. They got some horsepower at least. Maybe give them a little more horsepower too. Give them 1,000 horsepower just for fun. Just for fun. Obviously, they're not going to do that. But the All-Star Weekend was good. All-Star at North Wilkesboro. I think it's time, and before you react to the point I'm going to make, give me a minute here. I think it's time to take the All-Star race away from North Wilkesboro. Here is my layout of the NASCAR season and how it would work. The Clash, get it out of Bowman Gray. Nope, sorry. Out of Bowman Gray. Clash goes back to Daytona. Part of Speed Weeks, the way it's supposed to be, the way it's been before the last 5 years or so. The All-Star race, put it at Bowman Gray. Why not? Put it at Bowman Gray. Keep it in the schedule. Keep it in the zeitgeist of the NASCAR fans. As it is a good track, it's a fun track. The Clash was all right this year. Make that the All-Star. Now, I don't know if the track's big enough to have that many cars, but find out. It's the All-Star. Who cares? It's fun. No points are being paid. As for North Wilkesboro, 400 lap point paying race with a full field. That's the only thing that I care about right now. The track is continuing to get better and better. And I think some of the wear that we've seen on the track and how fast it's worn, you can attribute a little bit of that to the hurricane that we had, Helene ripping through North Carolina, affecting the high country in our area. That definitely had an effect on the track. The heat, it was very hot over the summer. And then you get the rain on top of that. It's going to wear the track more. The inside was working. The top was working. It was a lot of fun to watch the All-Star race this year. Now, we did have that run in the middle of the race before the promoter's caution, before Michael Waltrip decided to throw the yellow flag, where Joey Logano was pulling away from the field. But Christopher Bell had begun to run him back down as Logano got closer and closer to lap traffic, which is what you want. You want lap traffic at short tracks. Full field, 400 laps, point-paying race for North Wilkesboro. Now, do you add a 37th race? That would be hard for me to do. I don't know if the drivers want a 37th race. They race 36 out of 52 weeks in the year as it is. So the question becomes, what track do you remove? And I think it's very simple. You remove a road course. One of either Chicago or the Roval. One of those tracks has to go. It's time. Nobody likes watching a race at the Roval anymore. It's played out. Put them on the oval for all I care. Maybe we do this. Maybe we get rid of both the Roval and the Chicago Street Race and just say, instead of the Roval, you guys are going to run laps around the oval again. And instead of Chicago Street Race, we're going to North Wilkesboro. Why not? People are clamoring for a points race at North Wilkesboro. They were doing it last year. They're doing it even more this year after the show that they put on. It was a great race. It was a good race. Maybe not the best all-star ever, but tires mattered. Strategy was a thing. You could pass. It was hard, but you could pass. I think we need to see a full 400-lap race at North Wilkesboro and give out points. I think that would make it a lot more, well, obviously that would make North Wilkesboro race a lot more fun. You'd have 36 cars out there. You'd catch lap traffic after 20 laps. Then you'd really find out who has a good race car. Nonetheless, though, Christopher Bell wins the All-Star race. He beats Joey Logano late in the race after a restart, after they threw the promoter's caution. I don't have a problem with the promoter's caution. I don't. It's an all-star race. It's entertainment. Who cares? Throw the caution, bunch him back up. Logano stayed out. Bell took 2 tires. The 2 tires ended up prevailing as he was able to muscle his way around Joey Logano. And I thought the Logano interview was really funny after the race. I basically put me in the wall. No, you had about a lane until you got to the fence, Logano. Also, it was not good, clean, hard racing, what you've done over the past few years. So why are you mad? If the roles were reversed, I think Logano would have put Bell in the wall without question. Bell did it respectfully. Yeah, he used him up. Yeah, he leaned on him a little bit. That's good racing. That's good short track racing. I have no problem with that. He didn't wreck him. He didn't put him in the wall. Logano didn't finish last. Clean racing. And Logano says, if I would have gotten back to him, I was going to wreck him. What? The way you race people, Joey, seriously, and that's how you react? Maybe he went back and looked at it and has a different opinion. Coca-Cola 600 coming up on Sunday. Let's move on from the All-Star race because this is important and I need you guys to know this. The All-Star race. The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, 6 o'clock on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. If you do not have an Amazon Prime subscription, you will not be able to watch the NASCAR race. I'm going to say it again. Pay attention. The NASCAR race, the next 5 NASCAR races are on Amazon Prime. That is streaming only. You have to have Amazon Prime to watch it. It will not be on any other channel. It will only be on Amazon Prime. Make sure you set a reminder. Fox is done for the year. Thank goodness. I'm excited to see how Prime does with their broadcast. You got Dale Jr. back in the booth. I'm excited for that. And you have a driver attempting the double. Kyle Larson, for the second year in a row, is going to attempt the double. Looking at the weather for Sunday, it looks like things are kind of clear right now for Sunday. I'm not sure if that's going to change. I would assume it's going to change just because we're so far out from it happening. But it also looks like there's a chance of rain in Charlotte this weekend. later in the afternoon, and that doesn't surprise me. That's North Carolina weather for you at this time of year. Last year, both races, rain was the thing we talked about. Hopefully everything stays dry. I would love to see Kyle Larson complete every single lap of both races. I think he can. I think he can finish top 10 in Indy and come back and be in the top 10 before it gets dark at Charlotte. I do. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy the weekend. I hope everybody enjoys the Coca-Cola 600. I know I will. I'll be tuned into it. Until next week, you guys have a good one. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, NASCAR, Charlotte FC, golf. What more do you want? I'll see you next week. See ya.